It's your host, Red. I got a video today from the Modern King. New year, new goal. Let's get that 100,000, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow time.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways,
I don't really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians. But
I'm actually really enjoying this.
Like who?
I don't.
Like, see, all you have to do is question and ask them back who, what, why, and they can't seem to answer.
I don't know who, but
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
Can you describe the play, please? I'm the one watching here, and I'm totally confused.
I don't know what your question
Okay,
is.
then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have
I love it.
any common sense in the current government.
It's very obvious this
Neither is our government.
reporter had an agenda
No, I mean starting to now, I guess.
during this interview. Yet this man easily and calmly dismantled everything he said, all while eating an apple.
Say that you condemn white supremacy.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which absolutely fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but the kind of vicious and systematic racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race.
Exactly.
Do that, and we're going to move this country forward. And I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division. I meet people.
All right, I'll give it to you guys now. When I first came to this country, I loved this country. I thought it was amazing. I lived in LA. I lived in Bellflower. I grew up in Bellflower, like the border of LA and OC. I went to a somewhat of an inner city school. White people weren't the minority or the majority. It was a lot of Hispanics, a lot of blacks, a decent amount of Asians, and some whites. But oh my God, I was so privileged to see the true melting pot of the United States. And of course, there were some racist things that were said to me. Of course, there were these things from certain races or whatever. I didn't take that much offense to it because I had friends in each of those races. So yes, because I had a black guy, I had a black friend that was probably my best friend in elementary school. I also had other black people say racist things to me. I had a white friend that was a wonderful friend. But I also had other white people say racist things to me. I did not take it that, oh, white people are just this, black people are just that. I just took it as some of these people are just evil people. And that's how it should be, right? Just because someone's evil, doing evil acts, all of a sudden we put their race of their or the color of their skin onto it as if it's a gotcha moment for that particular race or something, which is kind of fucked.
From the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you.
It's satisfying to see people stand up and push back against the media for the misleading and divisive narratives they have been pushing that has led to the growing divide in the country.
Like, I actually have firsthand experience of media and how media portrays things whatever the way they want it to portray, whatever's the most enticing. Like, I don't talk about it too much, but the incident with the double murder that I tell you guys about, or like, sprinkle here and there, it wasn't a double murder. It was technically considered self-defense by the end of things, but they did literally take us into jail and booked us into jail for 2 first-degree murders. This is why I say it the way I say it. They made it seem like we were such racist assholes that we locked up and padlocked our gas station and whatever it was just because of we were evil or we were in the neighborhood to just cause trouble. Pretty much pushing us under the bus, like my family, under the bus, saying that no, we are the evil ones or whatever it is. But when articles keep coming out of the perpetrators and their background and the things they were doing, and then the actual camera footage got released, then it was a different story. But the media still painted everything a certain way. They already painted us as racist and as evil people. So the neighborhood already saw these first few articles. The next few articles aren't going to change anything. That fun, oops, my bad, which they didn't even print. They didn't even print a oops, my bad, or oops, the article, how we saw things was wrong, and then put the correct truth out there. They didn't even do that. So I can see media gets to portray whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want. They have that kind of power.
Especially since they love to pretend they have nothing to do with it.
I have noticed that most of the guests are mostly white males of 22 episodes.
Yeah, let's get into that.
No, but you
take a look over here, Peter. What do you see? A lot of whiteys. What's going on here?
Again, they always just want to put the color of someone's skin or race. Why does it matter?
Oh, this really pisses me off. But go ahead. It really pisses me off. People think it's the census or something. I mean, this has got to represent the actual pie chart of America. Who cares? It's just funny. Funny is the world that I live in. You're funny, I'm interested. You're not funny, I'm not interested. Okay. And I have no interest in gender or race or anything like that, but everyone else is kind of with their little calculating, is this the exact right mix? I think that's, to me, it's anti-comedy.
Making a problem out of nothing seems to be what they specialize in.
They do.
But this comedian did the right thing and simply pointed out how ridiculous it was that he tried to turn a comedy show into a race issue.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's by his adult family member. So you have Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so sure. I'm going to answer
Please
for you. In what context is a strap-on acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around.
I'm 100% in agreement with her right here. Why are these books in school?
Strap-on or the of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No, wait, we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
So now you've asked me questions.
Sure.
I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
Well, who is the main character? What's the name of the main character in All Boys Aren't Blue?
You're asking me right now.
You just gave me very specific information about this book, so you're presenting yourself as somebody expert.
It's the gentleman.
Hold on. Who's the main character in the book?
The main character is the author.
What's his name?
George, I believe is his first name.
Because you're giving me very specific information that is
You're
presenting
asking me to
yourself as an
remember the
expert.
name of an author.
You
the
just
name of the
remembered
author
very
doesn't
specific names.
joy.
Here's my
We're
question.
talking about
Here's my question.
You didn't answer my question.
No. I'm going to answer your
Great.
question.
I would love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm interviewing you, and you're not interviewing me. So let's just make sure it's a conversation.
Okay, great.
So
Wow. Okay.
what I'm saying to you is that as you are not an expert in this book,
I don't
or
have
in-
to
hold
be an
on.
expert to know
hold
that
on a second.
dildos aren't
One
appropriate
moment,
for public
one moment.
school. I mean,
this
come on, let's get
book
real.
is a full context story, as you said, of the author's experience. Why is it your right or a Moms for Liberty activist's right to say that a parent who wants their child to have access to this book, which
Then get access to them. Why should it be in public schools?
gives a personal experience of this author, why doesn't a liberal parent, for instance, or a parent of an LGBTQ kid, why don't they have a right for their child to just have access to this book? Why is it your right to say they can't?
So again, we're talking about.
And
Joy, you
each
said you
parent,
answered. Joy, you said you let me answer.
no. Each parent
Did not let you answer.
has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. So I want you.
No. So yes, you're right. So if each parent has to decide that, why is there an overarching thing that lets each parent do these things? They can still do it outside of school.
To answer, I'm going to ask it one more time. What is your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story, why don't they have the right? Why don't they have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book?
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator. That means that they have either been raped by a family member, they've experienced
and your proof
rape
of that
from
is what?
someone. You just said that
What's
if
your
a child
proof of
feels
that?
seen by this story.
This reporter got upset because she described what was actually in the book and why it shouldn't be allowed in schools.
I mean, I understand the accounts of some people of horrible accounts should be somewhat known and things like that. But yes, I don't want my kids to be learning about these horrible acts that happened to someone else.
The fact that she's arguing in defense of this book being available in schools shows how off the deep end she is.
Why is she being bullied?
Why is that wrong?
Why is she being bullied for acknowledging something that's smart, truth, and factual?
Well, a couple things. Number one, whether you're an athlete or anyone else, if I hear you use the phrase "my truth," I immediately then discount everything else you say because there isn't my truth or your truth. There's just the truth. And when you start using phrases like that, it tells me that
That's not true.
Your brain has been
Really?
captured by something that I don't really respect.
That's not true.
Number two.
That's not true.
Number two, the attention the league got this year was amazing, and it was all because of her. She is an amazing player. The arenas were full when she played in them. The TV ratings were up when she was on television. That's undeniable. But the league still lost like $40 million this year. And it's never made money. And to me, when you're talking about respecting people who built something, what did they build? A league that loses money every year? She has the capacity.
What do you mean,
to
what did they
possibly-
build? What do you mean, what did they build?
What kind of a business did they build?
The reason why it's still up and still running, whether it's losing money or not, is because of these black women who are in this.
Isn't it because of the investors?
What? No, it's because of the black men and the men that play the NBA. That's why these women still have it.
No, Scott, stop it. You stop it now.
It's not. I was in Dickie's arena.
Who pays for it?
I was in Dickie's arena. Let me just tell you. I was.
It says more about the people who are getting offended by it
Yeah.
than her.
I think they're just disappointed that she appears to have been captured by the woke mob.
You don't like the
Hold on
word.
one second.
Here's the disappointment.
It's the white privilege.
Hold on, let him articulate this because I want to learn something.
I feel a little
Can they not argue or interrupt the man?
bad for her because she's going to learn that it will never be enough. No matter how much of the phrasing, no matter how much of the groveling you do, it will never be enough for the people in that league that hate her guts.
Why do you assume
They hate her
that
guts?
Why do
Yes,
you
they
assume
do.
that
They do
she
not.
is trying to pander? Isn't it also
Because I hear the
Scott,
language. It's
Scott,
the language of the pander.
Scott,
I hear the phrase white privilege. Sports is the one place where nobody on the field has any privilege at all. She doesn't get extra points when she shoots because she's white. She gets the same number of points as anybody else. Sports is the great equalizer, and it just felt like to a lot of people that she was groveling for no reason because she is an amazing player who deserves all the accolades she's getting right now for doing what she's doing for women's basketball.
All right,
It's that need to be right. I feel the woke, the left, liberals, or I mean everybody, tell the truth, men and women, that need to be right is so strong. But men do take a little bit more accountability, because we understand just because we think it's true doesn't make it true. Where women, on the other hand, they get to live in that delusion, especially women that get to such high echelons to be able to argue some of these things. They've never even been in the sport themselves, nor they're in the position themselves. Please like, comment, subscribe.